My boyfriend broke up with me because one of his friends confessed about hooking up with me before, but he finally learned the truth and now he is crying a river. My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 10 weeks now. When he officially asked me to be his girlfriend, we mutually agreed to take things slow. Now after almost 3 months we decided it was time to meet each other's closest friends. I know he has told his guy friends about me before, but it would always be very vague. They just knew he was seeing someone. Now on Monday me and my boyfriend were hanging out when I noticed he was being distant. For example, when I snuggled up to him he would not hug me or anything like that, which he usually does. I thought he was just having a bad day, so I initiated seg thinking it would lighten up his mood. After that I asked him if he was hungry and if he wanted to order some food, to which he just shrugged and said don't know, I don't really care. At that moment I kind of snapped and told him he should just tell me if he wanted me to leave instead of treating me like that. He was silent for about 20 seconds and then asked me if I knew a guy friend of his, Alex. I told him I know him from when he's talking about his friends, but I haven't known him before I met him. He asked me if I was sure and I said yes 100% because I am sure I have never met this guy in my life before my boyfriend. My boyfriend was silent again, looked at me and said fine and started putting on his shoes and jacket to leave. I asked him what's wrong and where he's going. He just said I would have been fine with you hooking up with one of my friends before, but lying is something I'm not putting up with. I'll go for a walk and I want you to be gone when I'm back, before slamming the door in my face. I literally stood there in shock, questioning if it was some kind of a sick prank. After about 3 minutes, when I realized he was actually gone, I called my best friend and told her about what just happened. I was so confused I couldn't even cry. I was just in shock. I eventually packed my stuff and left after my best friend told me it's probably best to just give him time and space. My best friend picked me up at his place and we drove straight to her since she didn't want me to sleep alone that night. I texted him, I just want to let you know that I have no idea what you were talking about earlier. I'm not lying and I do not know Alex. I'm very confused right now, but I want to give you the time and space you might need right now. Please call me when you are ready to talk. I don't want to lose you over something like that. I love you. And turned off my phone before trying to sleep that night so I wouldn't stare at my phone every 2 minutes, hoping he replied to my text. Obviously I couldn't sleep that night, so I turned on my phone at around 3 a.m. to a lengthy text from him, mainly stating how disappointed he is and how much I've hurt him. He told me he wanted to talk the next day at his house. At around 4 p.m. my best friend drove me back to his house and waited in the car for me. My boyfriend was already waiting for me and I wanted to hug him, but he asked me not to touch him. I broke down crying at that moment. I couldn't get a word out and he tried calming me down. He eventually started talking and told me he was hanging out with 5 of his guy friends when he casually brought up that he and I are official now and he wants me to join the next time the other guys bring their girlfriends. They congratulated him. Some of them asked questions like how old I am, where we met, etc. Alex asked him to show him a picture of me, which my boyfriend did. One of his other friends looked at Alex and Alex just asked my boyfriend if he's joking. My boyfriend asked them why he would be joking and Alex basically told him that me and Alex used to hook up occasionally for about 5 months 2 years ago. Immediately accused my boyfriend of breaking bro code, telling him there was no way he didn't know. The other guys joined, saying it's not breaking bro code because Alex just banged me and it was nothing serious. My boyfriend was mortified and told him he never knew Alex was seeing me and I never told him, even though I've seen him when boyfriend showed me pictures of his friend or when Alex would send him a snap or things like that. My boyfriend asked him if he didn't recognize me before from the things he's told the guys about me, or when he would post candid pictures of me like me walking in front of my boyfriend, etc. He said no, because I changed a lot, which is true. I lost about 50 pounds and wear my hair different now. My boyfriend said Alex knew oddly specific things about my body, like tattoos you cannot see unless I'm in underwear, or scars, etc. At this point I was freaking out because I honestly have no clue where he knows these details from. My boyfriend said it hurt him to find out this way, but he would have gotten past it because he could understand me being uncomfortable telling him about my past with one of his friends, but he won't forgive me for lying straight in his face. I know my boyfriend has some trauma regarding lies and dishonesty, which is why I would never lie to him. I told him exactly that, but he didn't believe me and I can't blame him. Everything Alex told him sounds real, and while I'm desperately trying to win my boyfriend back, I'm freaking out about the fact that Alex knows what I look like naked. My boyfriend told me he does not know if he can move on from that. I asked him if he wanted a break and he just said I don't know. I apologized and no, looking back he probably thinks that was my way of admitting. I left his place and broke down in my best friend's car crying again. It's been 2 days and he hasn't said anything. This uncertainty is killing me. I honestly do not know what to do right now. How do I fix this relationship? Update, almost 2 months later. In the days after my initial post when my ex went radio silent, I had all the time in the world to reflect about this relationship, and I started to realize that there were only 2 options. Either my ex was lying to me or Alex was lying to him. I stopped reaching out to my ex and I guess it made him suspicious. 3 days after my post, my ex reached out to me through text asking me if we could talk. At this point I wasn't sad but mad. I texted him a message basically saying that I'm not insane and I know what I did and what not. That either Alex is ruining our relationship or he's, my ex, lying to me, and I'm done being framed as a bad person when I've done nothing wrong. I also told him that at this point there was no going back for me, especially as I realized I started to build resentment towards him for sleeping with me right before everything blew up, so I'd rather wrap this breakup up as fast as possible. He read this message and was typing for like 20 minutes before calling me. He was crying and asking if we could meet up. I complied, but under the condition that he brings all my stuff, because I was not playing this game anymore. I'm currently staying at my parents' house, so he drove here still crying when he arrived. I honestly just wanted him to drop off my stuff and leave because I was scared I was gonna cave in eventually. He asked me if he could come inside so he could explain himself. I asked what's there to explain, but he insisted I deserved the truth before breaking up completely, so I let him in and we sat down to talk in my room. He started by saying that I am the woman of his dreams, and he just messed up for life and how empty life was without me, and I started crying as well. I asked him to please stop and just tell me what's going on. He literally broke down sobbing hysterically to the point where I told him to calm down and breathe. He basically told me that Alex did tell him that he slept with me and that I'm not wifey material and he should break up with me. Alex told my ex to just ghost me. Because he doesn't need to justify himself and I don't deserve closure. My ex, however, wanted me to admit to sleeping with Alex, so he came up with his plan to test me. He lied about Alex knowing about my scars or tattoos to see how I would react so he could get a definite answer. He said he felt like my reaction to him telling me felt like I was lying and Alex was telling the truth. My ex told his friends about breaking up with me when Alex was freaking out at him for telling me that Alex has said that he slept with me. They argued back and forth until my ex asked him if he was lying, to which Alex said that he's not lying, but he just doesn't want his business out there like that, and that he swore to me that he would never tell anyone about sleeping with me. At this point I interrupted my ex asking him if he seriously believes that, and he said no, that was when he realized Alex was lying to him. My ex said that he drove to Alex's place to talk poop out in person, but Alex's roommates wouldn't let him in since my ex seems to be upset, so he drove to one of his other guy friends who was there too when Alex claimed he slept with me. Without going into too much detail, my ex and his friend had a long talk. The friend told him that Alex had always talked poop about my ex for dating me. For context, in black, and my ex and his friends except for one are white. Alex would make jokes or share memes about black biatches and how no white dude in his right mind would turn to a black woman, and some other pretty disturbing stuff I won't share here. My ex's friends thought it was weird but really didn't pay any mind because it's always been Alex's humor to make racist or sexist jokes, and they thought he was just frustrated about being single. Well, my ex said he thinks Alex did all of this because he's low-key racist and didn't want one of his friends to date outside of their race. I asked him what about this poop is low-key and how irresponsible it was of him to not warn me and also subject me to people like this. He apologized profusely, saying he never really saw it until now, which I find really hard to believe. I was honestly speechless about how my ex lied to me, tested me, how he's casually hanging out with racists. My ex went on telling me how amazing I am and he can't believe he ruined everything for another 5 minutes or so until I asked him if there's anything important left he needs to tell me or if anything is still unsaid. He said no and that he doesn't want to be selfish, but all he could ask is for me to consider the possibility of mending this relationship with the help of God. I didn't say anything and just got up, opened the door and asked him if he had my stuff in his car. He said yes, so we went downstairs and I got my stuff out of his car. He asked if he could hug me. I said I don't know, so he hugged me and told me he's sorry, and I went inside again to call my best friend. My ex has reached out to me about 10 times or so until I blocked him everywhere. One of his guy friend's girlfriends even reached out to me saying that she feels for me and that she met Alex and he never once said something like this in front of her, and how we've all been deceived. I told her that as good as her intentions might be, she should tell my ex if he still has some respect for me, he would make sure that nor him or one of his acquaintances would ever reach out to me again. As weird as it may sound, but finding all of this out just made it easier for me to move on from him. I am still in shock and I'm still hurt, but I realized that when we were dating I never knew who he or his friends were. In the past weeks I've really started to heal and reflect on me and my attachment style, as some of you suggested.